Welcome to Becoming Conscious Beings. Today we're going to be discussing about Craniosacral Therapy or CST. I am really excited to discuss about that. Like many of you, even I don't know much about CST, and I'm really intrigued to understand what it is, who does it work with, how does it work with also. So stay tuned and watch the video till the end to see if this is something that benefits you, something you'd want to give it a try to. So do stay with us till the end. And to discuss about CST and tell us more about it, we have a CST therapist with us today, Namrata. Hi, Namrata. Namrata, this has been long overdue. Finally, it's happening.
Yeah, thanks so much. As excited as you are to be here and sharing the space with you.
Yes. So just quick introduction, you can definitely add on to it. So Namrata here is a CST practitioner, a craniosacral therapist, working out of Hyderabad. And yeah, I think she'll tell you more about it herself.
Yes. So, craniosacral therapy, it's not as known in India, but world over, it definitely has a lot of support, and there are a lot of people who are benefiting from it. So, yeah, I'm so happy that I'm here and I'm excited to talk more about this.
Great. So, Namrata, just to begin with, if you were to really explain CST in layman's term, like you're explaining it to a toddler, how would you say what CST is?
Yeah. So, yeah, biodynamic craniosacral therapy. And we'll start with the name. The name itself kind of indicates uh, it indicates the basic foundation of this therapy. So, biodynamic is the kind of the form of this therapy, which is life based. Yeah. So, it is not something that you have manipulations or mechanical alignments to the structure of the body. It is life based. That is, it's a gentler form and it is guided by your own body. So that is
Okay.
what biodynamic means.
Hmm.
Craniosacral is cranium and sacrum, the two
Hmm.
ends of the vertebral column,
Okay.
two poles of the vertebral column, wherein you have the central nervous system.
Hmm.
Yeah?
Okay.
So this is the name suggests that it is a life based, and it is very deeply engaging with your life processes.
Hmm.
This is the basic outline. Now, going further, you can try to understand why craniosacral. So, when you come to the nervous system, it's a very special place and extremely potent. Nothing in your body, no structure, no function, no organ, nothing can exist without nervous system support.
Hmm.
Right?
Correct.
As well, it is again why I said it's a special place, because it's a very unique kind of a coming together of so many dimensions of a person.
Hmm.
So everything that you have, a thought, could be a feeling, could be any action that you need to do, your past, your present, your future, all these dimensions of a person kind of come together, interact, interplay, are interdependent. And that's what makes this place very powerful.
Hmm.
And that's why also nothing in the body can exist without nervous system support. So
Hmm.
it kind of brings together everything. And that's why it's a place which is very whole, where connections are absolutely fundamental. And
Hmm.
that is why when you work through biodynamic craniosacral therapy, you're addressing the whole system.
Hmm.
You're
Okay.
not looking at only symptoms or a particular condition that a
Hmm.
person is facing or dealing
Hmm.
with. So you're dealing with the whole person, you're dealing with the whole system, because the
Hmm.
nervous system is like that.
Hmm.
You bring together all of this in a person in the nervous system. And
Correct.
when you work from there, you address the whole system.
Hmm.
That is a very unique, uh, you could say USP kind of a thing for craniosacral therapy.
Hmm. Right. So what I understand is that for everyone also, right? While it is the same for everyone, everyone has their own nuances in their nervous systems, correct?
Totally,
Yes,
totally.
and
That's why it is led by your body and your
hmm,
life processes.
interesting. So, tell me something. If somebody comes in for, a CST therapy first session, what is it that they might uh, be in for? Like, what would the session look like for them? Yeah.
So now, as I said, I mean, BCST is a non-invasive,
Mm-hmm.
gentle, profound and touch-based therapy.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly, this is not a session that would take place online. It's a in-person or a physical modality. You need to be
Mm-hmm.
hands-on. So now, why would that be so important? Um, so when a person is coming in for a session, they usually have 45 minutes on a treatment table.
Okay.
The practitioner uses their trained sense of touch to listen to your whole
Mm-hmm.
system, to your body. So there are
Mm-hmm.
inherent movements, like a doctor would use a stethoscope. They hear sounds to indicate function in the body.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes.
Similarly, a BCST practitioner uses their hands and their trained sense of touch
Mm.
to understand your body, your system, your conditions, your situation through movements.
Okay.
Our hands are trained to pick up very subtle movements in the body. So that
Mm.
is what our hands are hearing or listening to.
Mm.
And it's a very light and neutral touch, which is very safe.
Mm.
And it actually helps the person coming in for therapy to be completely heard, to feel completely heard.
Okay.
So basically, what you have is 45 minutes plus or minus 5-10 minutes on a treatment table
Mm.
with the practitioner laying as light as 5 grams of weight. That is the lightness of the touch on
Okay.
probably different parts of your body, like your head
Mm.
or your back, maybe ankles, maybe hands,
Mm.
shoulders, neck. So, depending on what the body's movements indicate and
Mm.
what needs to be facilitated or supported during a session, is where the practitioner will go to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I understand is it's more of a body-based modality, right? And where um, you are using sensitive and safe touch with the client, right?
Neutral,
And
absolutely neutral and spacious touch.
and that is something that gives you a gateway into the nervous system, or what's the distressing aspects of that?
Uh, so, it's when you come to touch,
Hmm.
why touch? I mean, why is touch so important? Or why do you feel that it is a gateway into the nervous system or the
Hmm.
entire system, the whole system? Is
Hmm.
because touch is one of the most, um, as early as 8 weeks, you have the sense of touch developing in utero.
Okay.
It's one of the first senses which develops.
Hmm.
And because it develops first, you can understand how important it is. It's
Hmm.
been scientifically proved that you can do without other senses, but
Hmm.
to survive without the sense of touch is not possible.
Hmm. Right.
And touch is so powerful, it conveys, communicates, connects so much non-verbally.
Hmm.
Right? Over and above all of this, BCSD touch is very unique. It's
Hmm.
extremely sensitive, subtle, trained sense of touch, which is totally focused on neutrality, safety.
Hmm.
So you end up feeling so well heard, even if you do not um, speak or logically analyze, verbalize anything. That's not required.
Hmm. Correct.
It's also a form of co-regulation. In a way, it
Yeah.
brings in co-regulation. For you don't need to. You can speak, and a practitioner who is well trained and skilled will know what they need to share or speak or bring to your attention.
Hmm.
Yes, it's not, but it's not dependent on verbal communication. A
Okay.
BCSD session is not without communication, but it is not dependent on verbal communication.
Okay. Right. So also something that I'm also very intrigued, kind of interested to learn about is that a lot of people are very hesitant, rather, very reserved about touch-based work, right? Especially when they're coming in for therapy work. A lot of them have a lot of concerns around touch, right? And very sensitive to also um, their physical boundaries that they have. So just how do you make someone like that feels safe and comfortable. And I would imagine you can tell me better when somebody's coming and, like you said, there's a treatment table that they kind of come onto, and they're with the like very gentle, safe touch is where you're able to kind of understand the concern or what's happening in the body with related to the concern. So for someone who is very hesitant about touch or about, you know, a treatment table being there, how would you kind of make them feel comfortable coming in for a session?
A person who comes in for a session would know that it is touch-based work. And if they have any apprehensions or hesitations, the touch is so safe and so
Mm,
neutral and so spacious that it's very rare. Practically, I haven't in all these years ever come across someone who has been uncomfortable with that kind of a touch.
mm,
But so also, I have seen, in fact, people more hesitant to kind of share their personal details verbally,
mm, mm,
even when it is talking to uh, a therapist in a confidential manner. There is a
mm,
sense of guilt, shame, embarrassment, very such kind of emotions that a
mm,
person may feel kind of held back and not
mm,
able to share as much. So,
mm,
in the same way, you would have your way to kind of address those concerns, make the person comfortable. It's because the space in a BCSC session is so grounded and so neutral and safe that it's not very likely, it's practically impossible that someone would have uh, unease during a BCSC session. That's
Yeah,
one of
that
the
is,
most primary skills that we have to deeply develop in ourselves.
yeah.
That we have to be safe in all ways, not just in terms of touch. We have to be trained to be neutral, we have to be non judgmental, and that becomes a way of our being actually. The more
Mm,
spacious we are within ourselves, is the more amount of space we can offer and hold for a person coming in for a session. And that openness, that spaciousness, that neutrality, that grounding, that safety is not something that they are accustomed to outside. That is what helps them to, in fact, let go of their um, hesitations or their sensitivities to touch.
yeah, definitely. I do understand that once they're in the session and once they're kind of the relationship is established between them and the therapist, it would feel safe and okay. But for someone, just for example, listening to this podcast and hearing that it's, they can have reservations about it from the beginning since it's touch base or that there's a treatment table involved. So how would you work with those
In that
hesitations for
case,
someone wanting to come in?
what they can do is they can, if in spite of their hesitations, if they still feel that they
Mhm,
want to go in for a session but don't know how to deal with their hesitation, they
mhm,
can just say this very openly to a practitioner. And
mhm,
since you have to take in a hands-on session, when you're with the practitioner, you can voice your concerns. And I'm sure the practitioner, being the way they are trained to be, will probably not even ask you to lie down on the table. Not even because if you're so scared, okay, no problem. You can just sit on a chair and feel how the touch is.
mhm,
You don't have to, it's not a prerequisite to lie down on the treatment table. That is one of the most easiest ways to facilitate a long session because you cannot be
mhm.
sitting without moving, but you can be lying down and relaxed on a treatment table and let the session unfold.
Correct.
Initially, to have a feel for the work, a practitioner can always give you a 5 or 10 minute kind of a kind of a tester kind of a thing, like 5 or 10 minutes into how the session would feel just by sitting on a table. And
Mhm.
then I'm sure that's going to be more than enough. You'll be hooked.
Mhm. Right. So I think what I understand is that it definitely is as per the pace and comfort of the client. So if
Mm,
they have these hesitations, that is definitely something that's very gently considered and also worked through during the sessions then.
absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely.
great. Yes, that I think that I pick up from this is also that, like you said, especially in the growing years, right, or when in the prenatal stages, when there's not a lot of words that the client has to kind of store their experiences or um, kind of remember their experiences, touch or how they really through their senses, how they pick up these experiences, how they were in those experiences, what their nervous system, their bodies picks up like pre-verbal stage is where most of it is stored in the body, in their nervous system, which is without words, something that they cannot. explain in words, some things they're not able to describe. And this happens, like even in sessions, a lot of times when clients come in, they can feel a certain discomfort, they can feel a certain sense, which that in itself, they find it so difficult to explain and describe in the sessions. And I'm guessing that is something that CST is able to tap on and kind of work with, get in touch with.
Definitely, because it is a sense which developed so early on.
Hmm.
The touch, as I said, was the first
Hmm.
one of the first senses to develop.
Correct.
So that at that moment in time,
Hmm.
in utero, uh, we don't know what's happening. Everything is just a
Hmm.
felt sense. You know,
Correct.
you don't have sight, you do not have
Hmm.
visual sense, you do not have hearing. It all comes in slightly later after touch.
Hmm.
So that means everything is a felt sense in the body at that point.
Hmm. Correct.
So how else can you reach out to it? The way it
Hmm.
started is how you can reach out to it, how you can
Ah,
access it.
beautiful.
That
Right.
means that so many times when we do not have a logical or um, a verbal expression to what we are feeling,
Hmm.
very often touch and the nervous system are two ways which will kind of help you um, access that state. And only when you
Hmm.
access it can you kind of go further, process it further.
Hmm.
It's a
Correct.
felt sense. Everything is a
Hmm.
felt sense in the body. So whenever the body is trying to communicate to you, is very
Hmm.
often through sense, a felt sense. So what you
Hmm.
feel pain is a physical sensation in the body, but you
Hmm.
need to sit with the pain to be able to figure out what it is trying to
Yeah.
indicate or what is bringing it up or what is it trying to call your attention to. So
Yeah.
all of this eventually is felt sense. Everything,
Yeah.
even a thought that you have, eventually translates to a felt sense in the body. An
Hmm.
emotion you have, I'm feeling happy. So how does it feel in my body? I feel
Yeah.
light. I feel a sense of expansion. I feel there is a felt sense, and to each one of us, it will feel different.
Yeah.
So tapping into these states of the body kind of is is the wisdom of the body. I think it's we need
Hmm.
to access this.
Yes, definitely. And something that kind of brings also kind of intrigues me is then what all can CST work with and what all can we kind of discover with CST?
Um, so, like we said, CST works through life processes. Now, by
Hmm.
life processes, I mean biorhythms in the body, but I also mean underlying health. Now,
Hmm.
underlying health is something that is always in your body with you, trying to bring a, a greater balance, a new
Hmm.
balance each moment.
Okay.
So long as a system is living, it is
Hmm.
said to have health, no matter what symptoms or conditions you're facing. So,
Hmm.
in our usual day to day sense, what do we say? Oh, she's not doing too well, you know, some whatever health issue you're
Hmm.
facing. So the health issue kind of indicates taking away of health, which is not the
Hmm.
case. Health is there with you no matter what. It's
Hmm.
each moment working to better the situation for you. So
Hmm.
it's not something that's stationary or stagnant. It's dynamic, it's moving, it's all the time trying to create a newer balanced situation for
Hmm.
you. When you're working with something like this, which is in all of us, that means CST can work with everyone. It's
Hmm.
extremely broad spectrum in its application, but
Hmm.
not in a generalized way. In an individual way, particularly how you need it is how it will start working for you. So you could be
Hmm.
someone who is a newborn or a prenate or a neonate, whatever, to someone who's a teenager, to a toddler, infant, middle-aged, elderly, whatever, through
Hmm.
various health conditions like musculoskeletal issues. You have anxiety, you have depression, you have post-surgery or post-injury recovery, you have palliative
Hmm.
care, you have hormonal imbalances, or
Hmm.
um, so, I mean, anything and everything, almost anything
Hmm.
and everything, provided you are open to connecting with your body and working with a certain awareness
Hmm.
and attention to the body. Once
Great.
you start from there, your body kind of guides the way further.
Hmm.
You're not working with a set of symptoms now. The
Hmm.
symptoms will get addressed by the body's self-healing capacity.
Hmm.
Once you connect to health, you facilitate self-healing in the body.
Hmm.
So
Correct.
it's not that you're working with a certain set of symptoms. Of course, the symptoms will get dealt with, and totally with the body's sense of priority,
Mhm.
it will get dealt with. But you're working with your body's innate health, and you're going
Mm.
to only help your health build further.
Right. Definitely. I think it's a lot in alignment with belief in of therapy as well. Like something that we also kind of in therapy, which we say that, the symptoms or what you are suffering from is just your body's way of saying that it's something's not sitting right with it. It's not it's uncomfortable with something. So the symptoms that you feel are just ways of your body telling you that, hey, something needs attention. We need your attention on this. And then when they come in, we help them to listen to their body, become more conscious of their experiences and how they took it, and then slowly from there notice how they would want to experience or go forward with those experiences in their life. How is it now in the present, how they want their well-being and how do they wish to work towards that well-being. Like you said, it's just their wisdom, their conscious and their body's wisdom that we're just using along with them to lead them in the direction that they want to be live their life in. Correct. And also something that I hear from you is like it is something that works um for everyone at any stage of their life and for any concern that they're going through. Right. So like you said, if it can be someone who's coming in as a child, as a baby, as a teenager or an adult, they can come at any stage for CST and for any concern that they're going through, even if it is something that probably they're not able to describe or not able to really explain as to what it is and um, how is it for them.
Not only health conditions or health concerns, but I think in today's times, self-care can
Hmm.
never be overemphasized. So CST is also a very beautiful way to kind of connect to yourself, to
Hmm.
take care of yourself,
Hmm.
and also to kind of build on your overall well-being. So well-being and health is never going to ever be enough, especially with
Hmm.
demands that
Hmm.
lifestyle has today. So I think
Correct.
it connects us, and I mean it kind of bridges this gap that we kind of always are uh, feeling a sense of depletion because of the lifestyle.
Hmm.
It kind of helps you to kind of self-care, take care of yourself,
Yeah, and ground.
and thereby you build on your health, your resilience, your immunity, everything. So I mean I can never say that prevention is not better than cure. Definitely prevention is better than cure. So even in those states, and then you have caregivers, you have people who are always, their the role that they are playing is, um, you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of others when you don't take care of yourself. So it's
Hmm.
also there that you have caregivers who are always having this sense of uh, you know um, kind of run down, and they're always feeling depleted. So many of us in today's, you know
Correct.
life is demanding. So I think even if you have no health concerns, it's one of the most gentle ways to work with yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Something that I hear is it's a huge way of resourcing for yourself, a huge way to also ground yourself, kind of feel more stabilized. Because, like you said, a lot of times in our busy lives that we're leading, it can always feel like you're constantly moving around, you're constantly, you know, in a rush. So, what I also sense is CST would help you uh, feel that pause in your body, feel that rest in your body, even while you're leading your daily life.
And with all of the rest that you feel,
Correct.
definitely will come so much realignment and reorganization in the body
Hmm.
that you're going to. There are so many times that there are clients who probably come in for a different reason. Those symptoms resolve definitely in due course, but they have a very um, they have a sense of aliveness. They have
Hmm.
a refreshed perspective on themselves.
Hmm.
So all of these things only help you thriving. They help you to
Hmm.
live your best life.
Correct.
So in all of these cases, so you're looking at a whole, all the time you're
Hmm.
looking at a whole. You're looking at
Correct.
a whole person, you're looking at a whole system, you're looking at a whole situation. So
Correct.
the it always feels that it's leading to a more of a sense of completeness, always.
Hmm.
Every moment it's building on those deep, uh, what can we say? It's a very deep sense of self that you have.
Hmm.
We're looking at it from that perspective. Of
Correct.
course, the symptoms are something that we want to address.
Hmm.
The
Right. So
body
I
has
do.
brought that up so that it can get addressed.
Yeah, definitely.
We're looking at it in that sense. And that's why we say
Hmm.
CST is a beautiful modality because, again, it's not just cranial concepts.
Hmm.
So, a CST practitioner is it, he or she is trained with, psychological, anatomical, embryological, neurological, all of those approaches. There is an
Hmm.
integration of those approaches with cranial concepts. So, you're
Hmm.
coming into a very safe space
Hmm.
and kind of taking it from there. Your body takes it from there.
Correct. Definitely. I
And
mean, I
at
do.
all levels, so mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, whatever, it's all a complete picture each time.
So it's like a very integrative and a very holistic kind of a practice.
Mhm.
Uh, yes, and I do see it having a lot of overlaps with other modalities also. Like, for example, uh, I see a lot of overlap with EFT, with somatic experiencing, and general beliefs of therapy as well, right? So then, does CST work well with when it's kind of coupled with other modalities of healthcare?
Definitely, definitely.
Mm,
CST can be a standalone modality that you are, benefiting from, but at the
mm,
same time, depending on the individual, depending on their situation, if there is need for mainstream medication, if there is need for whatever support. So
mm,
it's always nice to have a collaborative, integrated
mm,
kind of a support that a person needs and let them have it. So by
mm.
itself, it does a lot. But if it is being used in conjunction with other therapies, so be it. That too works very well.
Yeah, definitely. So what I'm also hearing is also because you said it helps with post-surgery recovery, pre-surgery, palliative care. So even with someone who is undergoing some form of allopathic medical treatment or medications, they can also opt for CST along with that. Definitely with other forms of therapy that they're working with, but also if they're in the conventional medical treatments.
Yeah, so especially post surgery, I would say, is because that's a time when we all know that surgery has its own, after effects,
Mm,
not just the physical pain symptoms and all of that, but also very often a person who has been diagnosed with a certain situation, condition, and needs to undergo surgery, there is a lot of apprehension, there is a
yeah.
lot of discomfort, there is a lot of so even anesthesia is known to have certain side effects or after effects on the body. So what how do you address those? With a
Mm,
gentle, spacious modality like CST, you do
mm,
see that post-surgery recovery is much faster. Post-injury recovery is most faster. So there are people who may have been in an accident, suffered a
mm,
whiplash. So along with the musculoskeletal strains, they would also have a lot of trauma that,
mm,
the accident has put them through. So also surgery. A lot of us who have had, experience with surgery know that it can be a very uh, trying phase of your life. Doctors do their best to support, but there are a
correct.
lot of things that we hold on in our
Mm,
system. So it gives you that space to let go of all of
correct. Something clarifies a lot of my hesitations and questions as well. Mm, Now, see, something I have heard of very recently, like maybe a few months back. So how, like, could you tell me as to how you got to know about CST, how you kind of got introduced into it, and how has it been? How did you come about to be finding about CST and then becoming a CST practitioner?
So it goes back way. I mean, I think I can very clearly remember, even as a child, I always related more to alternate forms of healing. So I was
Mm-hmm.
more of a homeopathy kind of a person than a person who would go in for mainstream allopathic medication.
Mm,
With that bent of mind and whatever my life has been, I have always found myself to be able to relate more to alternate forms of
mm,
therapy and health and well-being. So, by and by, my life journey was such that I came across craniosacral, and when I when I thought of training, I didn't know enough because it takes a very long time to be able to let this learning sink in and for
mm,
you to have your own understanding of it. So even if that's the case with most people who may read about it online, or
mm,
the most well articulated articles also do not give you the kind of an understanding that a session would give you.
mm,
So this is something that I got onto it on a total gut feel and a hunch that this is something that I want to learn more about.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
definitely does give a
I'm
sense of.
sure I can say that I'm more than grateful that I followed my gut feeling.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely does give the sense of it being very experiential based as well. Um, yes, and it's very heartwarming to also kind of understand how your journey has been of becoming a CST practitioner and how it was like your calling that you found for yourself, something that you.
Absolutely, I'm totally taken up. I can't have ever enough of CST. In fact, it's one of the most, not because I practice it, but because of the nature of the work. There is a lot of stillness. There is a lot of felt sense, like I said, in the
Hmm.
body. It's a total different. Uh, in this world, there's another bubble that I live in, which is CS. It just makes the outside bubble, the outer world, much more comfortable.
Ah, that's a beautiful way to put it. I think that is going to really appeal to a lot of people because the outside world can feel really stressful and too overwhelming at times, for sure. Mm, yeah. So CST, like I recently stumbled upon it. Could you tell me how long has CST, like is it something that's recently come up or has it been there for a very long time?
I love this question, Purvi, because
Yeah.
when I got to know and I felt that it was, like I said, it was a gut feel and I wanted to learn more
Hmm.
about it. So when I started to learn, I mean, when I just started with that thought that I want to
Hmm.
train, my first question to myself was, I mean, it's just looking like 1950s ke aaspaas, this thing has kind of has taken a structure. So why do I
Mhm.
want to learn something that's as recent? Because today it's so common that today we're told that ABC is so and so, and tomorrow XYZ is so and so. I don't know if I'm
Hmm.
able to convey what I feel. So every minute
Hmm.
you have a different understanding about anything,
Yeah.
scientific or whatever. So facts keep changing.
Hmm.
So that was my first question to myself, that if it has just been structured as recently as the late 1950s, why am I wanting to study this? Why am I wanting to
Hmm.
train further?
Okay.
And because I put this question forward, and when you start training, you are given a background to the history of this. It was in the late 1800s that an osteopath, Dr. William Garner Sutherland,
Okay.
actually known as the father of craniosacral therapy, he was the person who found this this way of treating the body
Hmm.
and the person.
Okay.
So it is not something that uh, is a recent therapy or something like that. And I kind of see connects to all the civilizations or different parts of the world. The ancient treatment forms have
Hmm.
been very close, very similar to what craniosacral therapy is.
Hmm.
And if I have to say something like Ayurveda, you have
Hmm.
Nadi Pariksha, right? Sensing of the
Correct.
body's movements at the nadi,
Hmm.
at the wrist, and that tells you about the whole body.
Hmm.
Similarly, usually craniosacral sessions would start at the ankles. So, like a practitioner, Ayurveda practitioner will hold your wrist in this way and kind of
Hmm.
reach out and understand your entire
Hmm.
system, you as a person, your constitution, your
Hmm.
symptoms, everything. Similarly, we usually start at the ankles and have an
Okay.
overview of the whole system and the whole body.
Okay.
But this is not a recent thing. It's a very ancient way of practicing uh, self-care and healing in the body.
Mhm.
So I think if you go back
Correct.
to the
And
ancient civilizations, or whether it's in Australia or in Africa or whereabouts in the world,
mhm.
there have been similar practices. There have been similar practices, and that's why in most parts of the world, craniosacral therapy is very easily accepted and followed for healing.
Mhm. Correct.
But it's not
Okay.
pranic healing, it's not Reiki, it's none of those forms of healing. Those are based on channelizing energy.
Hmm.
Pranic healing or Reiki, they are forms, with all due respect and credit, those are forms of healing through channelizing energy. Here, there is no exchange of energy of any kind whatsoever. It's just connecting to your health, your body's innate wisdom. Like Reiki and pranic healing, they are more they are modalities which work more on the energetic aspect.
Hmm.
I do not want to take away from that. It is definitely uh, that has its own respect and credit, and not taking away from it. But Craniosacral therapy is not Reiki or pranic healing as well. There is no kind of an energetic exchange over here. It's not even
Hmm.
massage. Okay, it's
Correct.
not massage
So,
therapy.
hmm. Great that you clarified that. But so what I also understand is that then CST has been there for a long time, so there's and is quite scientific based and evidence based. There's a lot of research that's already been done about CST.
Yes, I would say, but the most important thing here is to probably just go and experience a session,
Mm,
because this is so individualized that you can relate to it, and I'm sure that's going to be your best
yeah.
explanation for what craniosacral therapy is. Because no
Mm,
matter how we talk or how much we try to share and exchange and all of that, eventually what you feel during a session will be your point of connect to this way of working with your body.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So I don't want to take a lot of your time. Last question, for sure,
Oh,
is
this is
that
so interesting.
yeah, just that if somebody searches or is wanting to go to a CSC practitioner, right? In Hyderabad, of course, you're there, but otherwise, if anybody is looking up for one, how would they kind of one identify a certified, authentic, accredited practitioner, and where would they find one? Like, how can they reach out to a particular to any CSP practitioner?
So most practitioners today have some amount of online presence. Yeah.
Mm,
So I think most of us, whenever we need to reach out, either it's word of mouth. If someone has been to a particular practitioner and has found help and support, they're most likely to refer them to
mm,
anyone who they know and wants, some kind of support in their life. So that's one way, word of mouth, or it's online these days. Most of us just look up Google search and find
mm,
someone near them. And but when you're going to a practitioner, I would say please check if it's the first time, check for the certification. There are certain
mm,
schools, different parts of the world have different schools. So you need to make sure that the school of therapy that they have certified from, you need to check on that.
mm,
And also, when you go through their online presence, whether it's an Insta page or it's a website, those would give you clues that this person is actually certified or not. More than that, after you have checked on these things, I would say even more important is to feel your level of comfort with the practitioner, because this is very uh, close and deeply connected kind of work.
mm,
It's not online like you and me are talking or someone is
mm,
listening to a podcast. It's not like that. So if you do not resonate or relate to the person who
mm,
you're taking sessions from, that could be a little bit of a missing link, you know,
mm,
in the work not being able to help you. So always try to take your time, feel your level of comfort with them, talk to them, see if they are able to address your, you know, doubts or queries, how
mm.
open they are, feel all of these things, and with an open mind just get into a session. If
Yeah.
not, if you don't feel ready for a session, then like I said, try to check with the practitioner if they can give you a feel of the work for maybe just 5-10 minutes or a short while on a chair, which is very,
Yeah.
very possible. It's not difficult.
Mm. Yeah, it's like how we say, right, that you need to find your fit with the therapist. Not every therapist is for everyone, so you need to find your fit. I think it's a lot like that. And I think most practitioners, like you said, are open to having an exploratory call to just kind of understand if they're able to connect and feel safe to each other, feel open to go further.
Because even practitioners sometimes may not be able to for various reasons, like transference,
Mm,
counter transference, all of that can come in. So if I feel
correct.
unable to support you, it would be nice of me as a practitioner to just refer you to a colleague. Similarly,
Right.
it's both ways. It's not just one way, because this is
Yes.
extremely close connected work. It's not something that, you just walk in for 35 minutes, 40 minutes, 1 hour, talk to someone and leave. So that has some amount of distance, you know,
Mm,
a, a talk therapy, a counseling session, all of those are looking at one aspect of a person. This is looking at the whole person.
mm,
So there is a little more, it's a little more closer,
mm.
to the whole person. It's a person to person kind of it's the whole of me connecting with the whole of you.
Yeah, and I think very similar to how it is in any therapy modality, right? Like where it's the connection that we have with the client is how we're seeing them as their being rather than the problem or the concern that they're bringing
So
in,
it's both ways.
and being very sensitive to their relationships around them, and what is around them that's also supporting them. So I think it's very aligned to also other therapy modalities, where it's more of seeing you as you rather than, yeah, definitely.
your set of symptoms. So it's like you just have to figure this,
Hmm.
just figure it. And very often, even through the online presence, we are able to understand, okay, what this person
Yeah.
has posted kind of relates to me, resonates to me.
Hmm.
So you can kind of pick it up. It's not very difficult. After which you can check for
Hmm.
certification. You can talk to the person on a call,
Yeah.
short call, schedule an appointment, see if it works out or not. It's
Yeah.
not very difficult. It's just like how
Yeah.
it would be for any other
Yeah.
therapy.
Yeah. Just one more thing. Like you said that, to check before when we want to be a practitioner, to check on the school for which they've received their certification from. So is
Hmm.
there a central or primary certification body, maybe worldwide or specifically in India, that kind of authentic for certification?
Certification bodies, more than that, there are associations which kind of um, you would be a member of if you're a certified practitioner. So those are no matter which school you have certified from. So PCTANA, that is North American um, Association for Craniosacral Therapists. There is another one in Asia, which is PACT. So these
Okay.
are two associations which most therapists, when they are certified, would be members of.
Okay. So
Matter which
PACT.
school of craniosacral therapy they have
Hmm.
certified.
Okay. So in Asia, it's PACT, and otherwise it's North
BCTANA.
American.
Yeah.
Okay, BCTANA, correct.
Mm.
We'll be linking that, we'll be telling that in the description as well, right?
Those would
So
be
great, I
for
think.
practitioners in different parts of the world. But if you're
Hmm.
here in India,
Okay.
then you would have to probably look up PACT, but again, look up under
Hmm.
India or the particular city that you're looking up, or just check Google search
Hmm.
online and check for their
Hmm.
certification and all of the other things that we spoke about.
Think we're towards the end of our time. Oh my God, there's so much more I want to know, and I think I'm now wanting to experience one. So I think I will plan a trip to Hyderabad very soon and come to you, Namrata.
I'd be more than
But
happy
otherwise,
and look forward to that. Because we've known each other just through
definitely,
calls and talking
yeah.
with each other. It would be wonderful to even meet in person.
Yeah, and I think that's the beauty of the internet. It helps you connect and have these connections, throughout the world, anywhere in the world. Definitely. Yeah. So thank you, Namrata, for giving your time over here and coming in for this conversation. It was so interesting and so lovely.
I'm more
Yeah.
than happy I could, be here and talk to you. And it was wonderful connecting. Thank you.
Yeah. And as for you, my beautiful conscious being, we would love to hear from you. So if you have any feedback, any comments for us, do put it in the comment section. I like it when you give me a like. So do give that. It really encourages me and lets me be seen. So that's an encouragement for me. So do hit that like button, comment, and let us know how, if you have any feedback for us, your views on this particular conversation. Also, otherwise, if you have any further questions about either, comment it or email us. The details will be in the description. Otherwise, if you want to kind of read up more about either of us, you can go visit our websites. Um,
More than happy if I'm able to, elaborate on any queries that anyone may have here. So if they leave that in the comments, that's fine. I would love to. It was so wonderful being here and more than grateful. Thanks.
Thank you. So that's it for today. Thank you for joining in to this conversation. You can subscribe to the channel to be updated with further conversations that we have with other healthcare professionals and other such interesting modalities and interventions that are there. So stay tuned.